The topic we have today is very, very interesting, and I am very, very happy that I have a fellow professional, some wide array of both domestic and international experiences in serving our dear country, and that is no less than our dear Mr. Mohammed Danjuma, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Special Duties and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. I am an old girl of that office, so anybody coming from that office is really I did a lot of work there, and I'm so glad that Mohammed is here with me. He's very, very qualified to take on this topic with me because I am an administrative officer and he is an accounting officer. So you can imagine when we talk about breaking functioning silos and then the inter-ministerial cooperation, we would know what we are talking about because the accountants and the admin officers, they do not flow on the same stream. So that is what we are talking about. I will invite him to introduce himself before we delve into the topic.
Good afternoon, distinguished participants. My name is Mohammed Sanusi Danjuma, the Permanent Secretary, Special Services Office New colleague in the service. I started my career in 1993 as Accountant 2 in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Then in 2000, when the pooling system was restored, I was posted
Ministerial cooperation. When we talk about silos, what do we mean? When we usually use such that terminology in the agricultural sector. I don't know if anybody here is from agri, yes. And when we talk about silos, we are talking about storage and not just storage, but a storage system where you separate the grains, you keep them in separate compartments. They don't mix. But that is a situation where you have departments, offices, and systems that work in isolation from each other. There is little communication flow across them, and then they do not collaborate. The collaboration is limited. Why in the work environment due to the operation of technology? At the last session, I heard someone was saying that tech teams management systems, especially the integrated management system, which is aspects of it are filtering into the civil service. Digitalization and having central document storage areas. These do not that are being installed in our operating environment. So we need to discuss and agree on how we can also transform our operating environments in tandem with these technical advancements. So that is why it has become very, very important. And if you are familiar with the overall theme of this conference, which is it is expected to bring up areas of transformation in the service. This is one of the areas that we have to focus on. We need to discuss here now, and various ministries and departments. You can confirm that the person working in HR does not share his files with the person working in planning and statistics, does not share files with accounts, except if you want to request for funding. You do not call them to your meetings, and then you do not give them some of your jobs to do. In fact, if somebody from another department comes and is aggressive and adversarial, am I right? You want to find out why is he coming to look into our job, to look into our schedule. Is it your schedule? This is our mandate, and some of you feel they will poach, they will encroach. We are so territorial in the way that we defend our schedule of but what we ask ourselves is the system suffering because of the way we operate? And the answer is yes. The system suffers because of how we operate. When we operate in silos, we isolate departments from what they need to deliver excellent service or excellent product. And if you look at some things that characterize our work, you will already see that there is no doubt at all that this type of system is very, very widespread in the entire public service. The way that we hoard information, the way that we hold our files very close to our chest. I think there are some departments that even have their own filing system, right? You will see this department, they say this is their registry. Another department, this is their registry. And they are the only ones that have access to those files. Now, what if another department needs information there? I have some of experiences that I encountered when I was in the civil service. When I was administrator of the Center for the Prevention of Avian Influenza, it was the first pandemic that we had to work on in this country. And when we were fighting it, we needed to develop a pandemic preparedness plan. That particular response involved the Federal Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development then, and then the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, as it was then known. I was the center administrator, being that I was being an admin officer, just a level 14 officer then. Then I had the head of the teams, directors, director of public health, director of veterinary department, and the director of publicity of Federal Ministry of Information. What was the problem? We had a very serious war, I will call it, not quarrel or disagreement, between the director of public health, director of veterinary services. I didn't know that doctors and veterinary doctors, medical doctors and veterinary doctors don't see eye to eye. I never knew until then. It was terrible. It was really bad. And they were fighting for who would be the head of that team. There was $50 million released by the World Health Organization, and the health people felt that they were the ones who should lead the team. But this was what they call a zoonotic